Picture this. You're sitting in a dead, silent study hall. Everyone's reading, the clock is ticking quietly. And then, out of nowhere, some guy in the back row whips out a tuba and just starts blasting a marching band anthem at full volume. Crazy, right? Well, that tuba player, that is exactly what an outlier does to a perfectly good set of data. It's a data point so loud, so wildly out of place, that it disrupts the entire pattern. And when one data point goes rogue like that, it can completely ruin your trend line, skew your predictions, and just throw off your entire analysis. So what happens when one data point ruins the trend? By the end of this lecture, you're going to understand exactly what an outlier is, the mathematical formula behind it, and how to apply it using visual graphs and numerical tables. Basically, you'll know how to confidently clean your own data.
Section 1. The rebel data point.
Okay, let's dive right in by defining what makes a data point a rebel in the statistical world. We toss the word outlier around a lot, right? But in statistics, it actually has a really strict, specific definition. An outlier is an observed data point that's just way far off from the least squares line, the line of best fit, and it creates a really large error. Now, the fancy statistical term for that error is a residual. But honestly, I just want you to think of this residual as the vertical distance from your trend line, straight up or straight down, to that data point. If that vertical distance is huge, well, you're looking at a potential outlier.
Now, wait, this is absolutely crucial. I see this mistake all the time, so lock this in. Please don't confuse an outlier with an influential point. An outlier has an extreme vertical distance from the line. It literally pulls the line up or down. But an influential point? That guy sits way out on the far left or far right of your graph. It has an extreme horizontal distance from the other points, and it actually acts like a lever, twisting and changing the actual slope of your regression line. So commit this to memory. Outliers are vertical errors. Influential points are horizontal shifts.
Section 2. Spotting outliers graphically.
So you might be wondering, okay, I get the vertical distance thing, but how far is too far? Are we just eyeballing it? Absolutely not. In statistics, we don't just guess, we have a rule. And that magic mathematical rule of thumb all comes down to the number 2. Exactly 2 standard deviations. If a point is sitting further than 2 standard deviations above or below that line of best fit, boom, we flag it as an outlier. Keep that number 2 locked in your brain. It's literally the gatekeeper for our data.
Knowing that magic number makes spotting these things visually so effortless. If you're looking at a scatter plot, all you gotta do is take your line of best fit and draw 2 extra parallel boundary lines. One that's exactly 2 standard deviations above the main line, and one that's 2 standard deviations below it. Think of it like creating a multi-lane highway. Any data point driving inside those highway lanes, totally safe. But any point that has crashed through those 2 boundary lines, yep, that's your outlier. Section 3. The math behind outliers. All right, now that we've got the visual idea of our 2 standard deviation highway, let's look at the actual math. We'll use a real step-by-step example here, predicting a student's final exam score based on their 3rd exam score. Let's demystify this residual thing. We have our raw data, what the student actually scored on exam 3 and what they actually got on the final. Then we have our predicted score, based on our regression line. To find the residual, it's super simple. You just subtract the predicted score from the observed score. Just actual minus predicted. Like if the math predicted you'd get a 150, but you only got a 133, your residual is -17. Now, to figure out our standard deviation limit, we have to find S. That's the standard deviation of these residuals. Let's walk through this just like we're standing at a whiteboard together. Step 1, take every single residual you just calculated and square it. Step 2, add all those squared numbers up. That gives us the SSC, or the sum of squared errors. Step 3, divide that sum by your total number of data points minus 2, or n minus 2. Why minus 2? Well, because our regression model uses 2 estimates, the slope and the y-intercept. And finally, step 4, take the square root of that whole shebang. And boom, you found S. So, when we run those exact numbers on our exam data, we find that our S is 16.4. But wait, remember our magic number? 2. We need 2 standard deviations to build our boundary walls. So we multiply 16.4 by 2, and we get 32.8. Okay, here's a quick mini test for you. Scan your table of residuals. We are hunting for any absolute value larger than 32.8. Do you see it? Yep, right there. We have a student who scored a 65 on the 3rd exam, which, let's be honest, is pretty low. Our line predicted they'd score a 140 on the final, but they magically pulled off a 175. The residual is a positive 35,
And since 35 is strictly greater than our boundary of 32.8, we have mathematically proven that this student's score is an official outlier.
Which brings us to section 4, removing the outlier. So what's the plan now? Do we just delete it because it's messing up our perfect line? No way. We have to investigate. Let's pretend we went back to the professor's actual gradebook and found out that this 175 was actually just a typo, a completely erroneous recording. Okay, now that we know for sure it's a true error, we can safely delete it. And what happens to our data trend when we do? This is wild. It brilliantly shows the massive impact one rebel data point can have. Check out the correlation coefficient, R. Originally, with that typo included, R was 0.6631. I mean, it was okay, but not great. But the split second we remove that single incorrect outlier, the correlation jumps to 0.9121. It moves so much closer to 1, meaning our new line of best fit is vastly stronger and hugs the data way tighter. And why does this matter? Well, because we use these lines to predict the future. Let's take a hypothetical student who scores 73 on the third exam. With our old corrupted trend line, we would predict they'd get a final exam score of 179. But using our new, cleaned up line, the prediction jumps up to 184 points. Cleaning out erroneous data literally changes the math, drastically improving how accurately we make real-world predictions.
Section 5, Real-World Application, the CPI. Now, let's step outside the classroom and connect this to the real world by looking at economics, specifically the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI. The CPI measures the average change in prices that consumers pay for goods over time. It's basically the ultimate yardstick we use to measure inflation. The President, Congress, the Federal Reserve, they all use this exact data to formulate massive monetary policies. So we're looking at a sample of historical CPI data stretching all the way from 1915 to 2023. We're talking over a century of world wars, massive economic booms, the Great Depression. You would absolutely expect some wild outliers in there, right? Let's run the math. Our standard deviation of the residuals, our S, for this data set is 25.4. We multiply that by 2, giving us boundaries of plus or minus 50.8. So when we plot every single historical event's CPI against our regression line and draw in those boundary lanes, the result is 0. 0 outliers found. Isn't that crazy? Even with a century of insane historical extremes, applying our strict mathematical rule shows that all the data points safely remain right there within the 2 standard deviation boundary lines. It's just a fantastic reminder that a point must be truly mathematically extreme to be flagged, not just, kind of high.
Section 6, Final Summary and Review. All right, we've covered a ton of ground today, from noisy tuba players to century-long inflation data. So let's really lock these concepts in. Here are your crucial takeaways. Number 1, outliers are extreme vertical errors away from the trend line, whereas influential points are horizontal shifts. Don't mix those up. Number 2, we never just guess. The magic mathematical boundary is always plus or minus 2 standard deviations of the residuals. And number 3, removing an outlier drastically improves your correlation coefficient. But hey, remember my final warning. We only delete outliers when we can actually confirm they are true errors or simply don't belong in the population. We literally never delete them just to make our math look prettier.
So now that we know exactly how to identify these rebel data points and clean up our data sets, we're left with a perfectly tuned regression line. But here's the real question. How do we actually unleash that cleaned data to accurately predict the future?